Good to go, Matt? Yes, sir. All right, we'll get started. We'd like to welcome Xander Schauffele to the interview room here at the 2023 Wells Fargo Championship, where Xander is making his fourth start. Xander, if we could just get an opening comment on being back at Quail Hollow, also for the first time since the President's Cup.
Yeah, always nice to be back to a spot with good memories. So it was nice to drive in yesterday. A little bit windier than I remember, but always good thoughts and good feels, especially pulling in. So yeah, overall good vibes for the week, and probably not just for myself, but for the rest of the team.
Coming into the week, number 21 in the FedEx Cup, you got 4 straight top 10s on the PGA Tour. How do you feel the state of your game is coming into this week?
Yeah, it's getting better. I feel like I've been playing a little bit more solid as of late. Typically, just a slow starter, trying to adjust for that. But yeah, I mean, I usually come in pretty good form throughout the summer, which is usually the thick of our season, so that's helpful. But yeah, I'd say, with the schedule changing, I guess I need to sort of learn how to play better early on. It's definitely something we're working on.
All right, we'll take some questions out here. If you have a question, we'll get a microphone to you. Start with Sean, back right.
Any reasons you've identified for being a slow starter, or how do you change that?
You're just peeling off of the off season. You're sort of working on you're either relaxing, trying to make any physical changes you can, and sort of the time frame that we're allowed. And yeah, you're just not golfing as much. So I'd say I'd probably be one of those guys that would say he plays better the more he plays almost, but that can go south quickly too. If you play too much, you get tired and you don't perform at a high level. So it's just a little thing you're trying to every guy out here is trying to fix or solve. Sorry.
Cameron and then Shane.
Xander, how would you describe this course, and how would you describe how it fits with your game? I've heard it described as a big ballpark, and you got to move it out there off the tee. Is that pretty accurate?
I mean, plays very different with the overseed right now. Yeah, it's got a big championship feel to it, no doubt. Just driving in, the clubhouse, the range, the facilities, it's got that big property feel to it. It's very difficult. It does help to hit it further. There's probably a bias to that, but yeah, I mean, I just remember it being almost impossible. I always think back to this place being impossible during the PGA when it was, it wasn't overseed. It was all Bermuda. The greens were like 16, and chipping was impossible. So I think it's probably it's still really difficult, but it's probably like a little bit more forgiving now that there's overseed and the grass is green and you can kind of get under the golf ball a little bit better and spin it some more. So, but yeah, it's definitely one of those properties where if you're not healthy through the bag, you're not going to play well.
Shane?
Xander, you're going to turn 30 this fall.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, there you go. I just turned 40, so better than me. Are you the kind of person who thinks about time passing, about milestone birthdays? Does it mean something to you?
I mean, growing up, I think I went to Roberto's for my 13th birthday, so I haven't really been like a big birthday guy. No, I maybe, you kind of, maybe, I don't know, once I turn 30, you can ask me that question again, but I'm cherishing my 20s as we speak. But I don't think so. I think you sort of look at your body of work, and being 30 doesn't really mean anything. I'd say most golfers are in their prime when they're, in their mid-30s. You just have seen enough. You've been through enough that you're just more comfortable. You're more experienced. You're sort of that veteran, as we say. So I feel like my best golf is in front of me.
And that was kind of segues into my follow-up, which is if we just put the time at 5 years, looking 5 years in the past, in what ways do you feel different, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I feel 5 years older. I can't wake up and just go to the course and just swing like a 22-year-old or 24-year-old for that matter. But I'd say, yeah, I mean, just a little bit more mature probably.
But as a human being and a golfer?
Yeah, I'd say on and off. I mean, my wife would probably argue the latter, but you just try to be better all around, and I definitely try to be as aware as possible of myself and my performance on the course. But I mean, I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but yeah, I mean, I don't really think I'm more a day-to-day guy versus sort of like a milestone guy.
I knew didn't get the Roberto's reference. What does that mean?
Oh, it's just like a taco shop. You know, my parents asked me where I want to go eat, you know, and I was like, just give me like a carne asada burrito and, you know, we'll call it a day. And they're like, well, you had that the last 3 days in a row. And I'm like, it's what I like.
Bob?
Xander, obviously there was going to be some growing pains with designated events, making some tweaks already for next year, obviously. How have you thought it's gone? Have you been happy with the way it's played out? Anything that you would have changed, and are you happy with what's going to go on next year?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been pretty aware that, you know, this would be the year to fight through, I guess, scheduling. We're no strangers to sort of, you know, traveling around a lot and doing things of that nature. So I think it's going as well as it can. I feel like the membership's probably, I don't know if I should say split's the right word. You know, no one likes change. It's just human nature. There was a big change that happened with these elevated events and non-elevated events and things of that nature. So the comforting thing is probably, you know, that the tour has been a lot more transparent, and they've also shown that they can make adjustments. So come 2024, we're gonna rip through that schedule as well. And if it's fluid, it's fluid. If it's not, it's not. And the tour will change again if need be to better, you know, to make a better product for the membership.
It was almost inevitable that some guys, because you're all but required to play the events. Next year you're not, but yet you're probably not going to want to miss them, and yet you might have to go to some courses that don't suit you, or you know, maybe you're just not as, you don't like as much.
Sure.
Has that happened to you, and how do you, you know, sort of fight through that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the way I look at it is I have to earn my time off, and I haven't done that. I'm just not where I'd like to be, and so Hilton Head, for example, is not a place that I've, you know, historically liked. You know, I've played there 4 times now, with only one solid finish. So you just if the courses you do like that happen to be elevated, just play your butt off, because, you know, then you can earn some time off. And maybe take off a course that you don't like. That's just how I look at it. You know, like I said, I have to earn my time off, and I haven't done that, so here I am playing pretty much all of them.
Xander, I know the property obviously looks different than it did President's Cup, and the course is a bit different, but what were some of those kind of images and flashbacks that popped through your head driving in today?
Yeah, just it was more of a feeling, like a nostalgic feeling almost. Just the range being split with the international team, U.S. team sides. You know, everything like the clubhouse looks the same, the range looks the same. I guess the color of the grass is different, but I haven't played 9 holes yet. I'm going to go out later today, and I'm sure it'll come back. It'll come back to me, sort of, maybe not, because it was playing really hard during the President's Cup, and I'm assuming or hoping it's a little bit softer than then. But yeah, just more of a vibe or a feel than anything else.
Paul in the back.
Hey, Xander, why do you love golf?
It's different. It's a mental beep, a mind beep. Yeah, it really gets you going, and it's different every day. You know, I'd say everything that goes along with it, the physios, the range sessions, the coaching, all that stuff feels the same week in, week out. I can see that getting tiresome as you get older, but playing, different. You know, up against a root, you hit a tree, it goes out of bounds, you hit a car path, you hit it in a bunker, it plugs in the lip. Like, it just is not, you're playing outside, so there's so many variables that go into play, and it's just an everlasting challenge. That is the mind beep, as I said earlier.
Shane and then Cameron.
Speaking of team golf, never too early for the media to ask you about the Ryder Cup.
Sure.
They're playing in Italy this week. Do you ever let your mind drift to that, or do you have any thoughts about what's going on later this fall, or what you might have to do to make that team and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I it's definitely on the list of goals, but I really try to be a day-to-day guy, just sort of trying to win the day more than anything else, and it'll bear its fruit in the end. So yeah, I mean, my mind wanders at times, but I try to sort of lock myself back in. It's really hard to do, but I try to be that way more than anything else.
What's it like when you're a day-to-day guy and then you come to a press conference and people are asking you about age 30, about the Ryder Cup? Is that? I mean, it is kind of like right. That's the media's thing. Is like, give us the long-term perspective.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty normal. I mean, I'd say me trying to be day-to-day is pretty normal, and you guys asking questions about something that's going to happen in 6 months is pretty normal too. So it honestly just feels like another day.
Cameron, and then Taylor.
Last week in the NBA, there was kind of a viral moment where Giannis talked about failure and losing and how it's not really a failure, it's the grind, it's about building up to winning. You guys, obviously, you all lose most of the time. Did you have a reaction to that speech that he gave?
Yeah, I saw the clip. I mean, I don't really have any like social media on my phone, but I do have sort of the Apple News. And my sort of For You page is very sports oriented. So yeah, I did see what he said, and I thought it was a really cool perspective. He's an all-star, and he's very humble in his approach. I've heard a lot of cool stories about sort of how his rise and how he takes care of his family and how he pretty much had nothing. So it's no surprise that he sort of has that outlook, and it's definitely a really cool one if you apply it to golf, because we are just a bunch of losers at the end of the day. With the highest winning percentage player being like 14% or something, or 15%, whatever Tiger or whoever it was in sort of modern day era is of a winning percentage. So yeah, it's all about perspective at the end of the day, and he gave a really cool outlook into sort of how he sees sports.
All right, we'll go to Taylor and then finish up with Matt.
A little more on what you said about earning your time off. Jack referenced the good stretch you're on of top 20 finishes.
Mm-hmm.
What specifically needs to happen with your game to earn your time off?
Yeah, I mean, to be comfortable out here would be to probably be in the top 5 in FedEx. Just pushing forward, just to secure a lot of things. That means you're playing really good golf. So pretty far away from that, and in my mind, if you're in that sort of top bubble, it'll allow me to sort of take a week off and feel okay about it. Every time we're not out here competing, you feel like you're falling back, and that's just the nature of the sport. So when I say earn time off or earning it, that's kind of what I'm referring to. Is I got to earn that week off, or that 2 weeks off at home that I really want.
Is there a part of your game that you feel needs that more than any other?
What do you mean?
Like, is there driving, putting, short game approach? Is there a specific part of your game
that needs a little bit of love?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, off the tee has been really bad this year, unfortunately. I feel like I've been driving it better since match play, and so like the stats probably don't show that because it was match play and then New Orleans, and it was a team event. So, and then Hilton Head is not really a driver's course. It's more it's more of a second shot approach course. So, I feel like I've been driving it better. The stats just aren't showing it. So, obviously, trying to address the biggest issues in my bag, and that's probably been it for the year.
And we'll finish up with Matt.
Xander, you mentioned feeling like you're rounding into form here. Just wondering, do you have a primary swing thought?
It varies. Yeah, I'd say we all do. Some guys work really well off cues. Some guys have one thought. Some guys have pre-shot routine thoughts. For me, I feel as of late more likely getting in more of a sort of like an athletic posture, stance, getting into the ball sets me up for a lot of good things before I even swing. And fortunately, that's not something I need to worry about while I'm swinging. It's sort of like getting set before. That's probably been my swing thought, I'd say, for a bit of time.
And then lastly, with this being Mental Health Month, I'm wondering what role mental health plays in your game, and if there's anything you do off the course that maybe helps you find success in that area.
I didn't know it was Mental Health Month. I mean, I guess they have months for everything now. But yeah, it's that's cool. Yeah, I know. I probably, you've heard me say strokes gain attitude and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm always trying to work on, half empty, half full, trying to take the half full approach, trying to be positive off the course, because it'll bleed on the course, like we referred to earlier. Golf's a game of a bunch of losers since only one guy wins, and you got to find perspective in that. So yeah, there isn't a whole lot of sort of dopamine kick when you're losing tournaments every week. So you got to find it elsewhere, and staying positive is definitely one way to sort of stay mentally healthy.
Thank you, Xander.
Thanks.
Best of luck this week.